This episode of the Grand Rising Show was brought to you by Autochthonous Assembly, where the real work gets done. Autochthonous Assembly is a gathering of the minds that do the work. Now, for many of our first-time subscribers and first-time visitors, you may be wondering who Autochthonous Assembly are. You can find this information about our mission statement and our core values on the website at autochthonousassembly.com/about. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising up Indigenous American voices by using genealogy, also known as family history, or your family tree, which is the study of families and the tracing of their lineages and history. Genealogists use oral interviews, historical records, genetic analysis, and other records to obtain information about a family and to demonstrate kinship and pedigrees of its members. Our core values are the foundation of our company, which is essential to our success and serve as a lens through which we evaluate every business decision. Those core values are, but are not limited to, integrity, which is knowing and doing what is right; respect, which is treating others the way you want to be treated; responsibility, which is embracing opportunities to contribute; and servant leadership, which is serving the common good. Now, at Autochthonous Assembly, we have a couple of goals here. And our first goal and foremost of the reason why we do everything that we do is to ensure that we help you do your genealogy and connect back to your tribe and find out where you are from. Everything that we do from the standpoint of the Grand Rising Show and all the information that's posted on the website is dedicated to that one specific purpose: helping you find your genealogy, find your relatives, find your family so that you will know exactly who you are. And if you choose to, tie back into your tribe, whether that tribe is a Native American tribe, an American Indian tribe, whether it's allowing you to determine which house in Africa that you belong to, or what clan of Scandinavia or Europe or France that you belong to. Either way, our goal is to do just that: help you find out who you are so you know exactly where to start. We are not here to tell you who you are, and we're not here to tell you who you are not. We're just here to help you discover your beginnings. Another one of our missions is to help you become financially independent so that you can help your generations for the next 7 generations and be able to put a stable foundation for you and your relatives. And if you should choose to use this information that we provide free of charge to help not only yourself, but your community and your tribe, then we will do everything in our power to make sure that gets done as well. And remember, our goal here is to make sure that we help you get exposed to this information to put you in the best situation possible. So now what I'm going to do now is return it back over to the panel to see if there was anything I missed, and I will go ahead and get set up so we can get ready and get digging into this information. Panel, take it away.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.
That's what she said. Grand Rising, everybody.
Grand Rising. Hold up, but ain't IT mean it? Never mind. I'm not fooling with either one of y'all right now.
Look, you ain't fooling with us. You started it.
Ain't that how it normally go?
The setup. I can't believe they're acting like this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We're live on the air right now. This is unprofessional.
Grand Rising, everyone. Grand Rising. Hope all is well.
Grand Rising, room leader.
As y'all can see, we already at it. Super early in the rising.
It's kicking me back on my email.
Hold up. No, what didn't happen? Oh, you talking about the little IT problem. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm in the back end now. Give me a moment. I got you, Gabrielle.
Grand Rising, everyone.
So how was everyone night? How's everyone doing out there?
Great.
It was a great night.
Yeah.
Great. Grand Rising. Oh, a little cloudy. No? Oh, sun's coming somewhere. 55 is a high. A little chilly today. Ain't going outside. I don't know why I be updating y'all on my weather. Like y'all care. I don't hear nobody telling me about their weather. Well, they're not. I'm gonna still tell y'all about the weather. It's a low of 44. But the birds is chirping still. Gabrielle, you just can't click a window? What's going on? What happened?
Okay, I'm in. Hold on.
Nope.
Let's do this.
That's my best friend. That's my
You better what?
Oh man.
Okay, how do I change it?
We're having technical difficulties on one of our ends. Grand Rising, peace to the chat. Bear with us.
Okay, I'm in there, but I'm
right to bear with us.
Okay, I'm in there. I'm just trying to figure out how to change it real quick. Oh, figured it out. Okay.
Is you good to go?
I'm about to tell you in like 5 seconds, Turkish.
So how was everyone's night so far? Anything interesting?
Really, really good.
Interesting, you say?
Indubitably.
No, we've been observing some things. The observers. Except we got hair.
Their watchers are watching.
But yeah, no, yeah. Yes. How about you? Full of disappearing act yesterday.
You besides wrestling with all this digital stuff going on and all this COVID information, was what they just released a report that aerosols can detect it up to 3 hours later. These people need to make up their mind.
That what?
It can stay airborne alive in aerosols for up to 3 hours.
In aerosols?
So if I sneeze while spraying an air freshener, it's gonna be up in there.
You know what they mean when they mean aerosols. When you sneeze, it stays in the air for up to 3 hours.
Yeah.
It lives on plastic and surfaces like that for 2 days, they say.
Okay, I hear you.
I'm like you, like, next.
Okay, I'm gonna have to deal with this after the show.
Really? 2 days?
Yeah. Nah, it's been since last week.
No. I'm
Matter
talking
of
about
fact,
the 2 days. I'm talking about the come on now. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about COVIDtel Pro or whatever this thing is called. No. It's Friday Rising. We're gonna get into this. Bones is Batman. He just disappear at night. So where did he go? I had a question like 16 hours ago.
Yeah, and double cousin kept saying, "No, I don't. You lost me." Yeah, no, explain.
I said that a lot last night.
Explain. Yeah.
That was a record. I think that was a record-breaking evening where I was like, nope, I don't know what you're talking about.
Nope. Mm-mm.
So what are we talking about? Interdimensional travel or something? I don't remember. No, it might have been about history.
Man, I know a thing. Grand Rising the Big Nelson, Brandon 3, Macadon 1, Michael Brown Harris Cheek, Nature's Void, and I'll catch the other ones as they come in. Who knocking on the door?
It's me.
It's me.
It is I.
Really, Gabrielle, you really think it's odd? We just had this conversation before. You should already know what's going on. What's going on?
What's going on?
I got it. I'm fixing it now.
That's a set.
Okay, got the links in the chat. We can start whenever y'all ready.
Paper, rock, scissors, you lost.
All right, I got the link up.
You got it.
Another funding. You love me tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, I reapplied.
We got funding for you, and you, and you.
You get a program. You get a program. You get a program.
See, we got funding. I am not fooling around with y'all this ride. That's it. I'm done.
I'm staying on mute.
That's why I normally be on mute.
Yeah, sitting there. They had bad. Head shaking and all.
Shut up.
And they gone.
Shimon!
Okay, my bad. It's double cousin fault. Ain't my fault.
Never had people around here talking about, what? Y'all let y'all children listen to them? What's wrong with y'all?
You said educational platform. What?
I don't know. Because my children be doing the same thing in conversation I'm having with them. Like, for real, can you stop? I'm trying to have a conversation. You saying a song, got me saying a song.
When my son said the other day, Dad, everybody you know speak TV?
Hey, man. Hey, I'm glad he can call it.
Oh my goodness! Wait, which son?
You know that language? You know that language?
Everybody, huh?
Oh yeah, that's from Junior.
Oh my goodness, that is funny. That's funny. That's cute. That's funny.
I just look at him and be like, "Hey, you want some more?"
That's funny.
Put the end to that conversation real quick.
Oh my goodness! I'm gonna use that.
No, to be honest, Gabrielle, I'm waiting for him to become a grown man because that's the one thing I got marked down in my memory bank that we're gonna have a conversation when he's a grown man.
Man,
I'm gonna be like, son, you remember that day we went to go visit Gabrielle? And you decided that you wanted to put all the hot stuff on one chip.
Listen. I don't care what y'all remember from that. The one thing that sticks out in my mind is when I handed him the cup with something to drink in it. He put the cup down and just stood there. There was a pause, like, you know what? This is it. It's happening. Like the look on his face was like,
this is really real. This is real.
I handed him something to drink and he put the cup down and just stood there like.
No, you know what I'm saying? So
I
hot.
ain't never seen nothing like
hot that when you drink it become hotter. He was in one
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. The fact that he paused, I was like, oh. I was nervous, concerned, but when he paused with the cup in hand, just stood there, I was like, oh. And the look he gave, you want some more? Yeah. His eyes turned before his head did.
On no side, like it was that eye cut. Like if he was 10 years older, me and him would have been out front wrestling.
Man, I'm telling you, his eyes turned on the side of his head before his head turned. It was a grown man look. I'm telling you, it was a grown.
Like, Daddy, you really want to play right now? Like the way I feel, he was like, the way I feel right now, I'll take my chances.
Oh, you think you funny? Oh, you think you funny? You don't know me, money.
Good.
You silly dog.
No, I was waiting for him to stand up and be like, just ground me. I'm gonna speak my mind. Ground me
now.
I'm tired of this. Whoop your own behind. Don't blame me, blame my mouth.
Yeah, because I'm the type of parent, child do something to where they learn their lesson. I'm rubbing it in. Yeah, I'm gonna rub it in. I'm gonna make sure you remember it.
You learn your lesson.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure you learn.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, I learned my lesson too, though. I'm gonna have to rethink all these peppers I got.
No, you ain't do nothing. That's him trying to be like grown ups.
Okay, so honestly, I didn't understand. I really thought, I was like, okay, I only use 2 jalapenos in this one and 2 jalapenos in this one because usually I use 6. So it's one of those things like
You put guacamole and salsa on the chip, and not a little bit. 2 spoon heaps.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I really didn't know that. I had no idea.
I'm like, boy, stop trying to eat.
I do what I want.
Man, he put that cup down.
I've been eating stuff like that my whole life. He gonna get up there and try to like he was eating his whole life. I guess he remembered he wasn't.
No, he gonna start now. We'll keep going, so I can say it when I'm my daddy age. I've been eating my whole life.
Right, now listen, if y'all hear muffling later on, it's you and Gabrielle fault. So you heard us talking about him and then duct tape me in the corner. So y'all think it's funny, huh? Y'all all on the air talking about me, huh? Come here.
How many times he cut his eye at you while you weren't looking?
Oh my goodness.
Man, oh my goodness. They want to do all the talking on air. I had to dodge him this rising.
Did you?
Yep.
You see me.
What time is it? Time for you to leave me alone.
You know you see me. Yo, do you know I'm still... Oh, wait, we live. I'm about to say, you know I'm still finding random toys everywhere?
What?
I'm still finding random toys everywhere.
You can start an online.
That's how I be with them.
You gotta get it online.
Okay, my bad. I'm telling you, you would have been laughing because I that was such a grown man look and expression. The fact that he put the cup down, them two things, him putting the cup down is like, I'm just gonna stand here, put the cup in my hand. I ain't want to drink nothing now. Oh, okay. They all sweethearts though. They're my little buddies. Okay, I got the link up.
I'll let you hear it.
Ooh, ooh. Okay, wait, you're reading, I'm reading, not it? No, I'm just messing with you.
I know. This is your field of expertise.
Okay. 2010 urban area facts and questions.
You're talking about the census, right?
I literally just got that FAQ is facts and questions.
No, it's frequently asked questions.
Oh, frequently asked questions.
And the thing you said too.
I'm still learning how to text in letters.
Man.
When I was younger, it used to be facts and questions. Okay.
Mm-hmm. You did that.
Okay, yeah. I'm still learning letters.
It's all right. It's all right.
Man, but if you really think about it, letters used to represent words, right?
They still do.
They make letters make
Cab
up
is
words.
calling Aboriginal bloodlines. Which, huh? So this link is from the Census Bureau, right?
Yes, I'm saying, you know how letters, an individual letter represented a word,
I see what you're
expression.
You're talking about glyphs.
Right.
Yeah.
And technically, it's kind of the same thing.
Okay.
You know, like LOL is laugh out loud. FAQ is frequently asked questions.
Yes, I see what you're saying. So it's not going to be it's not something else. It's like you might as well put a trademark next to those 3 letters.
Well, I haven't caught up yet, so I need them to slow down on the letters. I have not caught up yet. It took me a minute. I still be asking questions. Hey, what's this?
Well, now you got nothing but time. That's how people got to get stuff online. But yeah, this is from the, hold on, my bad. Isn't this from the Census Bureau?
This is
The
from the
Census
Census Bureau.
All right, Census Bureau.
Census.gov. 2010 urban area frequently asked questions.
Our census. Hold on, what link you click?
The link that's in the chat.
Which chat? I clicked the link that was in the Cab Grand Rising show.
Well, I can only see Twitter. Nature's Voice said, "I'm coming to pick you up." I didn't even do nothing.
You doing everything. What's it?
I didn't
I
even
clicked
do
the
nothing.
wrong. Maybe I clicked the wrong one. No, I ain't clicked the wrong one. Yeah, I clicked the wrong one. All right. I'm gonna be quiet. But when you read, I'm gonna be talking again.
Okay, urban rural classification. Okay, wait. In this section, urban rural classification program, urban and rural definition, urban area delineation results. Urban rural classification program. When did the Census Bureau begin defining urban and rural areas? Oh, when did? All right. The Census Bureau first defined urban places in reports following the 1880 and 1890 censuses. At that time, the Census Bureau identified as urban any incorporated place that had a minimum population of either 4,000 or 8,000, depending on the report. That's interesting. It said any place incorporated, so it defined urban areas. There were cities being incorporated.
Yep.
I think they're all of them ain't isn't.
Yes, cities weren't considered cities until they were incorporated.
Yep. Uh-oh.
Hold on, y'all saying there's some unincorporated areas around here?
No. I'm saying, like, okay, you know how counties were established first and then the cities were established second? Like you develop the border of the area and that's your county. But the urban area, you know what? I'm reading. Hold on. Where am I at? I'm reading. Okay. The Census Bureau adopted the current minimum population threshold of 2,500 for the 1910 census. Any incorporated place that contained at least 2,500 people within its boundaries was considered urban. Okay, I'm tripping because in one of the guidelines to becoming a state was to have a minimum of 5,000 people. Okay, hold on. I'm reading. The Census Bureau adopted the current minimum population threshold of 2,500 for the 1910 census. Any incorporated place that contained at least 2,500 people within its boundaries was considered urban. All territory outside urban places, regardless of population density, was considered rural. The Census Bureau began identifying densely populated urbanized areas of 50,000 or more population with the 1950 census, taking into account the increased presence of densely settled suburban development in the vicinity of large cities. Outside urbanized areas, the Census Bureau continued to identify as urban any incorporated place or census designated place of at least 2,500 and less than 50,000 people. The Census Bureau introduced the urban cluster concept for Census 2000, replacing urban places located outside urbanized areas. Urban clusters are defined based on the same criteria as urbanized areas, but represent areas containing at least 2,500 and less than 50,000 people. Rural continues to be defined as any population, housing, or territory outside urban areas. Why does the Census Bureau, okay. Why does the Census Bureau delineate urban areas? The Census Bureau delineates urban and rural areas for statistical purposes. That is, to tabulate and present data for the urban and rural population, housing, and territory within the United States, Puerto Rico, and the island areas. The Census Bureau's urban areas represent densely developed territory and encompass residential, commercial, and other non-residential urban land uses. The Census Bureau's urban and rural classification provides an important baseline for analyzing changes in the distribution and characteristics of urban and rural population. The Census Bureau's delineation of urbanized areas and urban clusters also support the Office of Management and Budget delineation of metropolitan and micropolitan statistical areas. Urbanized areas of 50,000 or more people form the urban cores of metropolitan statistical areas. Urban clusters of at least 10,000 and less than 50,000 people form the urban cores of micropolitan statistical areas.
I heard the word tabulate. Sound like something E40 would say. So, Gabrielle, who uses the Census Bureau's urban and rural definitions?
Okay, I'm glad you asked. Data users and researchers interested in analyzing data for urban and rural population and housing use the Census Bureau urban and rural areas and data tabulated for those areas. Analysts use urban area data to study patterns of urbanization, suburban growth and development, and urban-rural land area change. Various federal and state agencies use the Census Bureau's urban and rural definition as the basis for their own urban and rural definitions and settlement classifications for use in tabulating and presenting statistical data. The National Center for Education Statistics uses the Census Bureau's urban and rural definition in its locale codes classifications. The U.S. Department of Agriculture uses the Census Bureau's urban-rural classification as the basis for various urban and rural classifications used to analyze and report on demographic and economic patterns in rural areas. Other government agency, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say the U.S. Department of Agriculture. That was
Yep.
USDA.
Yep.
Showing its face. Okay. Hi. Thank you.
Other government agencies use the Census Bureau's urban and rural definitions to determine program eligibility and funding formulas. For example, the Federal Highways Administration uses Census Bureau's urbanized areas to qualify metropolitan planning organizations for rural health programs. A clinic qualifies as a rural health clinic if it's located outside the boundaries of a Census Bureau urbanized area. Interesting.
Yes, it is. Locale codes are derived from a classification system originally developed by NCES in the 1980s to describe a school's location. So those are what locale codes are. Locale codes.
So based off of that, when an area redistricts and students who weren't going to a school before, their area is redistricted and now they do go to a school. Wow. Okay. You want to read the next question?
How often does the Census Bureau update the boundaries of urbanized areas and urban clusters? Was that loud enough? I'm sorry.
Yes.
It was.
Yes. The Census Bureau reviews and updates urbanized areas and urban cluster boundaries every 10 years. Following the decennial census, census blocks provide the building blocks for measuring population density and delineating each urban area. Because population estimates and American Community Survey data are not available at the census block level, the Census Bureau does not possess a nationally consistent set of population data at the level of geographic detail needed to delineate urban areas between census. Hold on. I don't know what this word means. Give me just a second.
What, building blocks?
No, delineate. I want to make sure of what the understanding I know. Describe or portray precisely. Oh, so it's the details of it, the accuracy of it. Okay. My bad. Okay, so when they're delineating the accuracy of the urban areas. Okay. You want to read the next question?
Of course. Does the Census Bureau allow local governments and other groups to participate in the delineation of urban area boundaries?
No.
What?
The Census Bureau's urban and rural area definitions provide a baseline for a wide variety of data users, researchers, and analysts. It is important to our statistical data users that we define urban areas in a nationally consistent and objective manner. In addition, although the Census Bureau does not take into account the needs of specific non-statistical programs, we are aware of the potential programmatic advantages or disadvantages deriving from urbanized area and urban rural status. For that reason, also, it is important that we define urbanized areas and urban clusters in an objective manner, applying the same criteria and delineation methodology throughout the United States and Puerto Rico. Prior to each decennial census, the Census Bureau publishes in the Federal Register proposed criteria for delineating urban areas for public review and comment. In addition to meeting with various data users and stakeholder groups to ensure that the urban area concept and criteria continue to meet the user's needs and expectations while maintaining continuity
and content. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, the word is continuity.
Oh, continuity. It's my money and I want it now. Okay. With previous decades definitions.
Call J.G. Wentworth.
The final criteria adopted from application with decennial census and other data to delineate urban areas reflects the comments received through the Federal Register comment process. That's interesting. Interesting.
And that was for, does the Census Bureau allow local governments and other groups to participate in the delineation of urban area boundaries?
Says no.
Next question. Is there an appeal process if I disagree with the location of an urban area boundary?
The Census Bureau does not have an appeal process. The Census Bureau applies published criteria with statistical and other publicly available data to identify a nationally consistent set of urban areas, defined in as objective a manner as possible. Prior to each decennial census, the Census Bureau publishes in the Federal Register proposed criteria for delineating urban areas for public review and comment. The final criteria adopted for application with the decennial census and other data is to delineate urban areas reflects the comments received through the Federal Register comments process.
AKA, you can let us know, but we got this.
Yeah.
This
I'm
is
sure
very
there is a way to voice your opinion on the area. Maybe without an appeal, you can still figure some things out.
But y'all see what that means so far, though?
Yeah, I got a lot of.
Who dictates what a neighborhood get classified as?
Well, we read a couple of weeks ago that the governor picked certain tracts out of each state and submitted it, and those tracts were submitted for basically gentrification.
Basically, the Census Bureau dictates what the neighborhood is, if it's
Yep.
urban. So, if you wanted to have say-so over the Census Bureau and how they identified your community, you could do that by mass amounts of participation. Right? And get it changed to whatever you need to get it changed to by the amount of participation.
Well, that P word again.
That's how you
Just saying.
Was that a solution to a problem?
Man, I'm just
Whoa.
sick with solutions. I'm just so many solutions.
Oh, my bad. I forgot I can't even play golf. You might get choked out for that. Take that back. I'm so sorry. No, I was play coughing and I won't do it no more.
Man, that's better than what my son did to me in that grocery store. Trying to get us kicked out. He thought that thing was funny. You know the youngest one, the one you met? Oh man, I had to put my little list down. I said, I gotta go. And he did it all, even at the cash register, like, yo. And then kept going, mommy, no, just don't. I don't want to be your mommy right now. You playing around, people stepping back, people looking and shaking.
Yeah, no sellout. He fit right in with us.
Oh Lord.
My stomach hurt. Is there a bathroom here? I'm looking at him like, boy, we about to, you know what? I said, what you sniffing for? Your nose dry. What you? Stop doing it. Then he's gonna tell he went reach for the bags. He said, I'll help you bag them. After he did all this, like for real, you got people leaving aisles, picking up other people's baskets. Oh, I thought it was yours. And I'm standing in front of really? Okay.
Run up in the middle of the snow and have a fake sneeze. Oh.
Yes! He does do that. Oh my goodness.
Listen, anybody listening, don't do that, man. Because people are acting crazy. Yeah. We talked like a couple of weeks ago before it got to this point. Yeah. Don't do it. Please do not do that now.
Yeah, please don't. They might call the cops on you.
You're lucky if they call the cops.
Man, for real.
Hey, now it's like somebody smoking at the pump.
Man,
I fight you.
I saw
fight you.
The Costco situation. I don't know if y'all seen that.
What happened?
Somebody bumped an electric cart into someone else in Costco. The next thing you know, they busting wine bottles fighting.
Whoa.
Hold on, like Michael Jackson and Wesley Snipes in the garage? Who's
what?
Back?
Come on, Tito.
I don't fight. I don't argue. Really?
People losing their mind.
That is dangerous. I'm cool.
Yep. Hey. Are they fighting 6 feet from each other?
I punched you in your face. You feel it?
It's like, what is this choreographed fighting in this BJ's and Costco's?
I punched you in the gut. Ooh.
No, you gotta lay down. I got you good.
I kicked you in your leg.
No, you can't walk away. I don't care if
6
that is
feet
a
away,
bag of chips.
like throwing down Pokemon cards.
I don't understand that.
Hey,
Though.
that's what it's about to
You
be.
were so worried about being infected, but you have no problem fighting in the store.
Come on now. Come on. You just contradicted yourself. You're a walking contradiction in the grocery store. Come on now. Don't do it.
For real.
Yeah, sometimes people just need to take a step back and relax.
Yeah, they need to get their Dungeon and Dragon board up. Call it a day. What was the other one? It was, well, Pokemon, Dragon Ball. Yeah, they need to get their playing cards out. I lifted you up in the sky.
Food. Even the dogs know people.
Okay, my bad. Okay, my bad. Can y'all hear me?
Loud and clear.
You want to read the next question, double cousin? Okay. How will my area's classification affect my funding? Program eligibility and funding formulas are determined by the federal and state agencies making the grants. For information about how the new urban and rural definitions may affect your area's funding, please contact the representative grant-making agencies. Really?
That's what they did.
Huh. Urban and rural definitions. How does the Census Bureau define urban and rural? The Census Bureau's urban-rural classification is fundamentally a delineation of geographical areas, identifying both individual urban areas and the rural areas of the nation. The Census Bureau's urban area represents densely developed territory and encompasses residential, commercial, and other non-residential urban land uses.
Basically a city.
Right. For the 2010 census, an urban area will comprise a densely settled core of census tracts and or census blocks that meet minimum population density requirements, along with adjacent territory containing non-residential urban land uses, as well as territory with low population density included to link outlying densely settled territory with the densely settled core. To qualify as an urban area, the territory identified according to criteria must encompass at least 2,500 people, at least 1,500 of which reside outside institutional group quarters. The Census Bureau identifies two types of urban areas: urbanized areas, UAs, of 50,000 or more people, and urban clusters, UCs, of at least 2,500 and less than 50,000 people. Rural encompasses all population, housing, and territory not included within an urban area. The specific criteria used to define urban areas for the 2010 census was published in the Federal Register of August 24th, 2011. Yeah, you just said what I thought. How has the Census Bureau's urban-rural definition changed over time? From the 1910 census through the 1940 census, the Census Bureau defined urban as an incorporated place that contained at least 2,500 people within its boundaries. Additional criteria were applied to classify certain New England towns and other areas as urban through special rules. This accounted for selected geographic areas that had urban characteristics but were not identified as incorporated places by the Census Bureau. Increasing suburbanization, particularly outside the boundaries of large incorporated places, led the Census Bureau to adopt the Urbanized Area (UA) concept.
Hold up, Gabrielle. I'm so sorry. It's something about that line stuck into my head.
You mean the special
This
rules?
accounted for selected. No. This accounted for selected geographic areas that had urban characteristics but were not identified as incorporated places by the Indian land.
Yes, it would, because from the 1910 to 1940. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Breaking up.
Yeah, I'm putting a note in
breaking
that.
up.
I know what I'm looking at.
Yeah. I don't know what he just said.
Hold on.
Somebody help him. My bad. I'm back. I had a phone call.
Oh no, you're fine.
There you go. Okay, you coming back. All right. So what did you just read? What just happened? Where we at? What question?
Okay, we're on how the Census Bureau's urban-rural definition changed over time.
Gotcha.
Now, what's interesting is saying that from 1910 to 1940, the Census Bureau defined urban as an incorporated place that contained 25,000 people within its boundaries. So
2,500. Any incorporated place with 2,500 people within its boundaries.
Right, but cities, you weren't considered a city until you were incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So if you were a city, you were not recognized as a city or even a town. You were not recognized as a town. Let me clarify. We say city now, but you were not classified as a town until you were incorporated.
Got it. So
what's interesting is that
2,500 people within its boundaries is considered urban.
Right. So the next sentence says additional criteria were applied to classify certain New England towns and other areas as urban through special rules. In quotations.
Mm-hmm.
So then it says this accounted for selected geographic areas that had urban characteristics but were not identified as incorporated places by the census. So that means they took areas that weren't incorporated, weren't a town, weren't a city, because city and towns are incorporated. They were not incorporated, so it wasn't a town. It wasn't recognized as a city, and it wasn't recognized as a town, but still identified it as urban because of its characteristics.
Translation, simple, y'all. They took areas where people were living that had over 200 and think about it, 2,500 people.
Yeah.
2,500 people considers that an urban area, an urban cluster. So all these areas that had large populations of people, whether it was Indians or whoever was living in particular areas, they were able to identify these areas as urban areas, regardless on how the census even counted these people or not. Whether these people got counted or not, that area got counted as an urban area.
2,500 people is a lot of people for an area that's not incorporated.
And that's the minimum. So they could be anywhere from 2,500 on up.
Yeah, to 50 to 2,500.
And not incorporated?
These areas weren't incorporated. So that's at least a minimum of 2,500 people, but less than 50,000.
Yeah.
But think about it. You could have more than 50,000. They would just break them up into two different areas now.
Right.
Split it in half. Put the highways in between. Now, when you used to have one big community, now you got two.
Mm-hmm.
They divided the population by what? Clusters of 50,000.
Whoa.
So 50,000 is your cutoff mark, and this is the way they created neighborhoods and communities. Wouldn't that be where you would put your lines at to cut these communities and stuff off? How else would you keep a line to maintain a population of 50,000 people in a particular area when you have to section that off somehow?
Yeah.
Therefore, becoming a town, a city, districts, regions.
Well, see, I got something kicking around with these numbers, these population numbers. And that is, a while back when I was doing some reading on what, basically the requirements were to establish a state as a state. What I found interesting is that it was only a requirement that you had 5,000 men to be recognized as a state. 5,000 men who own land.
But you got to remember the time.
Okay.
You got to remember the timeline of this too. You're talking 1700s, 1800s. Now we're in the top of the 1900s. Different policies.
Got you. So states, counties, city, towns.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Because remember, before you had all of this, you had your little districts and towns and all that before you had the states.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I got a question later.
And we got to remember, this is updated census information. We would have to go back and see what was the numbers that the census used to create neighborhoods and areas of that time. Remember, this is the 1900s. This is what they were using.
Right.
And what they use today.
So between 1910 and because they're, you know what? Okay. Question later. Increasing suburbanization, particularly outside the boundaries of large incorporated places, led the Census Bureau to adopt the urbanized area, UA concept, for the 1950 census. At that time, the Census Bureau formally recognized that densely settled communities outside the boundaries of large incorporated municipalities were just as urban as the densely settled population inside those boundaries, and the large unsettled or sparsely settled areas inside those boundaries were just as rural as those outside.
And this is 1950, correct?
Yep.
Isn't it so convenient that the Highway Act is 1956?
Yep.
You're making acts for highways, dog?
Using the highways and this new criteria on what numbers dictate an area to be urban or not. They basically use that information to create neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Think about it, you have a high population of people. It could have been 100,000 something people in this area, or even 200,000.
Yeah.
You run intersections and highways in there. Now you done turn them 200,000 people into 8 independent separate communities, separated by highways and roads now. I mean, really look at how our cities and neighborhoods are built and developed.
Yeah, I looked at an area map and yeah, Yeah.
Think about it. The people were there before the Census Bureau and all that. People
Correct.
were there. So all they did was counted the people, looked at the map, and divided the people into neighborhoods and communities however they see fit.
Right.
Well, I won't say it that way. Basically divided it into areas for services and resources, because it does have its benefits.
So because you want to read the next question?
Which one is the next one?
How do
urbanized areas, UAs? Huh? How do urbanized areas, UAs, and urban clusters, UCs, compare to the Office of Management and Budget's metropolitan and micropolitan statistical areas?
Urbanized areas and urban clusters form the urban cores of metropolitan and micropolitan statistical areas, respectively. Each metropolitan statistical area will contain at least one urbanized area of 50,000 people or more. 50,000 or more people. Each micropolitan statistical area will contain at least one urban cluster of at least 10,000 and less than 50,000 people. Metropolitan and micropolitan statistical areas represent the county-based functional regions associated with urban centers, hence the generic term core-based statistical areas.
Created communities and cities off of the numbers on how they divided it up.
Yeah. And basically the micropolitan statistical areas are your rural areas, right? Even though they can still be categorized as urban or urbanized, that's your rural area.
Suburban.
Oh, right before.
Yeah, those are the suburbs.
Got you. Oh.
Remember, see, they don't say suburbs, but the key word is the outlying areas of the urban center.
Right.
So what's outlying, if this is urban, what's surrounding the urban?
Suburban, yeah.
That's why I say how a lot of times how they write things, you really gotta pay attention to how it's written.
Oh yeah, they use the dictionary on this for real. You want to read the next question, Double Cousin?
I sure do. Where the changes to the urban area delineation criteria? What were there changes to the urban area delineation criteria for the 2010 census?
Yes. A description of differences between the 2010 Census Urban Area Criteria and Census 2000 Urban Area Criteria are available. Changes include bullet points, use of census tracts instead of block groups for initial identification of urban area cores. At least 15,000 people must reside outside institutional group quarters for an area to qualify as its own urban area. No additional hops after a jump. I don't know what that means. Inclusion of census blocks with a high degree of impervious surfaces added to the criteria to help identify blocks containing non-residential urban land uses. Okay. Oh, okay. Criteria for merging and splitting urban areas were modified to ensure that any Census 2000 urbanized area will continue to be separately identified as an urbanized area for the 2010 census, provided that the area still has a population of at least 50,000 people. That's interesting. Central places are no longer identified. Inclusion of airports with annual enplancements of at least 2,500 passengers and located within a 0.5 miles of an urban area. What?
The things you find out when you take the time out to read.
They got two hot links: urban area criteria for 2010 census, PDF, differences between the census 2000 and the 2010 census urban area criterias, and federal register notice containing the final urban area criteria for the 2010 census.
They got your hops and jumps definition right there if you want to read that.
You want to ask the question?
Nope.
Because you know I want.
What are hops and jumps?
Hops and jumps provide a means for connecting outlying densely settled territory with the main body of the urbanized area or urban cluster. A hop provides a connection from one urban area core to other qualifying urban territory along a road connection of 0.5 miles or less in length. Multiple hops may be made along any given road corridor. This criterion recognizes that altering patterns of residential development and non-residential development are typical features of urban landscapes. A jump provides a connection from one urban area core to other qualifying urban territory along a road connection that is greater than 0.5 miles but less or equal to 2.5 miles in length. Only one jump may be made along any given road connection. The jump concept has been part of the urbanization area delineation process since the 1950 census, providing a means for recognizing that urbanization may be offset by intervening areas that have not yet developed. The Census Bureau changed the maximum jump distance from 1.5 miles to 2.5 miles with the Census 2000 criteria. This is why the roads, things are lumped. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We get into it, getting to the bottom of it.
Okay.
Go to the page.
Man, so.
And they want to know why it matters. No, but don't participate. No. Okay.
Right. Because if you don't participate, then those hops and jumps where they're and this is what I'm getting from it. If I'm wrong, definitely correct me. But what I'm getting from it, I'm thinking about, we got a main street here. That main street, if I'm thinking about it, if I'm getting this correctly, I'm in an urbanized area or an urban area. If I go down that main street, there's only one jump to get to 1, 2, 3, 4 urbanized areas off of the main street. So it's an.
But now imagine when you don't participate now. You don't participate in the census. You don't participate in your community. So now taxes and incomes that would keep these areas flourishing is removed.
Talk about it.
And now outside entities have to come in. It's either outside entities have to come in to invest to keep it up, or They go to hopping and jumping.
Coming to a neighborhood near you.
Just think about it. If the people there don't do anything with it, then that's how that area end up getting annexed and becoming a subdivision of another area. It's just that simple. Or they'll split the population up and create two different neighborhoods out of one.
Mm-hmm.
But no, don't participate. Really?
Don't do it. Please don't. Why you gotta say please? What's
and you wonder why they putting the road through your community. They ain't putting it through there because, it's no personal hate. They putting the road there because ain't nobody doing nothing to generate anything in the community, so somebody had to invest something there.
Right.
I mean, that's why we have to get to the point to start putting feelings and emotions aside and start dealing with the truth and the facts.
Come on with it.
If at the end of the day, if you're not investing in your area and your city has to bring in taxes to maintain, like them utilities you like, electric, water, stuff like that, garbage, basic needs, that stuff has to be paid for. Mm-hmm. So if the people of the city or town are not participating and some outside entities come in and finance it, how can you complain? So the town's supposed to drown and go up under because citizens of said town no longer want to participate.
With no alternative.
Yeah, but still want stuff. Still want utilities and services and all these things.
And ready to complain.
Can somebody please explain to me how that works?
Is that mathematic?
Man, look. And if you really think about it, when those roads are built, that built around those areas. Man, look.
Yep. You ready for the next one?
Sure.
How many new urbanized areas are there for the 2010 census?
There are 36 new urbanized areas for the 2010 census. 35 were formerly designated as urban clusters. The Williamsburg, Virginia area previously was part of the Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach. Virginia, North Carolina urbanized area. The new urbanized areas are
Shout out.
Albany, Oregon, Arroyo Grande, Grover Beach, California.
Arroyo.
No, it's Arroyo.
Arroyo.
Okay, yeah, Arroyo Grande, Grover Beach, California. Beckley, West Virginia. Bloomsburg, Barrack, Pennsylvania. Cape Girardeau, gonna botch that up. Is that Missouri, Illinois? Carbondale, Illinois. Cartersville, Georgia. Casa Grande, Arizona. Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, Conway, Arizona, Daphne, Fairhope, Alabama, Delano, California, East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Grand Island, New England, Grants Pass, Oregon, Hammond, Louisiana, Hermosa Springs, Beverly Hills, Citrus Springs, Florida, Hanover, Pennsylvania, Hilton Head Island, South. What? Okay. Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, Kahulu, Hawaii, Lake Havasu City, Arizona. What? Okay, Lexington Park, California, Chesapeake Ranch Estates, Maryland. Wow. Los Lunos, New Mexico, Manhattan, Kansas, Mankato, Minnesota, Midland, Michigan, New Bern, North Carolina. San Marcos, Texas, Sebring, Avon Park, Florida, Sierra Vista, Arizona, Staunton, Waynesboro, Virginia, Walla Walla, is that Washington, Oregon? Watertown, New York, West Bend, Wisconsin, Williamsburg, Virginia, Woodland, California. You know, I know some of these places.
Yep, don't we? I mean, Virginia Beach, Virginia, North Carolina, urbanized.
Oh, did I say
and they
San
changed
Marcos,
in 2010.
Yeah,
They changed in 2010, correct?
So,
correct?
Gabrielle, yep. Gabrielle,
so you know what that meant?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, no sellout. Go ahead.
No, you remember when I told you that Williamsburg was new? Remember, it wasn't on the map, and then it was on the map. The eligibility map. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Williamsburg.
What's crazy is, let me go back up here. How many urbanized? Okay, it says
when was the election? What year was the? I have a question. What year was the election? Let's keep it simple.
16. And
what year was these? What year was these new urban areas created?
Ooh,
this is for the 2010 census.
The 2010 census, correct? Yeah. So now these new urban, 35, 36 urban areas that just got created, wouldn't they need representation?
Yep.
They sure would. They sure
new
would.
Seats in Congress.
Yep.
I wonder if you was to look at these 35 or 36 new areas, I wonder what the voting demographic of these areas would be.
Yeah, because it's crazy. I know there's
You see the big picture?
I don't even understand how, and okay, I got some questions after the show, because
if you become an urban community, again,
it's gonna get
if you become an urban community, your population is large enough, you need representation. Right. The larger the population, the more representation. The more representation, the more seats you send to Congress. The more seats you send to Congress for a particular party, the more leverage you have on getting particular acts across the board. Again, wasn't there a political shift in the country when they showed you the map when Trump got elected and they was trying to act like they did not know how it happened? But it seems to me they know exactly how it happened. They created new urban areas that got representation that was able to swing a little bit. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I got some questions. You want to read the next question, Double Cousin?
Just make sure you write them down so we don't forget them.
Got you.
Did any Census 2000 urbanized areas fail to qualify as urbanized areas for the 2010 census?
3 former urbanized areas in the United States are now classified as urban clusters. Danville, Virginia / North Carolina, 49,340 people.
344.
Galveston, Texas, 44,022 people. And Sandusky, Ohio, 48,990 people. The former Saipan urbanized area in the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands is now classified as the Garapan Dandan urban cluster with a population of 46,203 people.
Okay, so I might have missed something. So hold since on, they're under 50,
I need a question. Hey. Go ahead.
So if it's under 50,000, they're going to be called clusters?
No, see, that's the thing.
Just asking if they failed, and they say, yeah, they failed, and the numbers are under 50,000. I'll
yeah, 2,500. 2,500 is considered a cluster.
Yeah, you're right.
2,500 is a cluster. And this is where hopping and jumping comes in, y'all. You get enough clusters close around to each other, they can combine them clusters, and now that becomes an urban area.
Yep.
Connect the dots. Really, start connecting the dots. So what happens? You know, just y'all walk with me real quick. Just give me 2 minutes of your time. What happens when, you know, you start buying property in particular areas and start building communities, creating your own urban clusters?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that start, you get enough of them urban clusters, you're starting to be identified as your own urban area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that means these multiple communities come together and they all need what now? Representation?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and with representation, you send people to Congress and the Senate to represent you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just checking. I'm done.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Moving on. We're going to move on to the next one. How many people reside in urban or rural areas for the 2010 census? What percentage of the U.S. population is urban or rural?
The urban areas of the United States for the 2010 census contain a great amount of number of people. What's that? 200.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm letting you know I'm using that one.
That's 249 mil.
Okay, 249,253,271 people, representing 80. Why couldn't they just do that? Okay, 80.7% of the population, and the rural area contains 59,492,276 people, or 19.3% of the population. In Puerto Rico,
hold on. If we only supposed to be 45 to 50 million in the population, how do we dominate all the urban areas if they consist over 200 million people? Never mind.
You're not considered urban anymore, right, man?
No, I answer my own question. I'm like, how are we 13%? If the urban population is over 200 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
You know what? I'm thinking about that map we looked at those green spots.
We on somebody else's census, y'all.
That's a lot. That's a lot of people to be crunched into them green spots.
That's a lot of people that look like me and you crunched into them green spots.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's in them green spots were like. Okay. In Puerto Rico.
How are you dominating all the urban areas, but you only supposed to be technically 13% of the population?
And you're not participating and wondering why you don't have representation.
Say we're on somebody else's census, y'all.
Could that 13% be 13% of the population that does participate?
Yep.
Ouch. The numbers already show what happens if 30% of us participate. Uh-oh. Which would make sense that conditions haven't changed for us as a whole, because out of our whole population, there's only 13% of us that's participating. If you really think about it. What are them numbers really saying when they say 13%? Is that 13% of us who actually participate in the census?
I mean, yeah, because they're going to give the. Go ahead. They're going to give the numbers of. I mean, and that's with anything. If you fill out a survey, you do a census, whatever it is, you get lights in your name. With anything, you can only go off the numbers of participation. So light companies can go only off of the number of customers they actually have that receive electric service from them. Water companies can only go off the numbers of, basically the accounts established. So when you're participating, whether even something as simple as having a water account, that is something that's accounted for. So when you have people who aren't participating, case in point, the census, then it's unaccounted for. You're counted, but you're not counted where you count. You're counted based off of, if you didn't participate in the census and you worked a job, your job counted you for their benefit, but it wasn't for your benefit. So you were counted, you just weren't counted to count, to matter.
Yeah, everybody counted you for you, but you.
Right.
It's amazing what you find out just by diving into the info that's there. You want to know how something works? I mean, simple. You dive into the info. Then you can see what it's designed to do and how it works. And you can see when people tell you not to participate, not to be a part of it, that's what makes the situation worse for you.
Yeah, and if you really think about it, when people are participating in the census and you're talking about a whole community or neighborhood or town or city or whatever that's re-changing to fit, and I got my air fingers up, a certain type or certain people, then you really got to take it in consideration. That's because they did the census. And so now that area is now changing to benefit them more because you didn't participate. They did, you didn't. So if your area starts to look like something that basically represents them, it's your fault.
How do you think we got packed in? Let's keep it honest and let's look at the info. How do you think we got packed in? Lack of participation in our communities got us mushed together.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because it was lack of participation allowed people to come in and move particular groups from one side of the community to another side of the community. Let's make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
Because if we was handling the responsibility of our communities, really, and let's be honest, really handling our job, minding our business, building our infrastructure, then nobody could come in and move you from your neighborhood.
Exactly.
Just by the point of that happening alone. And don't get me wrong, yeah, policies and things were put into place. Mechanisms were put into place for this to happen. But the mechanism didn't do it. It's the lack of participation that allowed the mechanism to work. Because this same mechanism, guess what happens when you participate and you use it for your benefit? You get your own.
It's just like when you hear people say, they said that they went and talked to some elected official, and you'll hear something like, I voted for you. I need to talk to you. It's the same as saying, look, I participated. You represent me. Let's have a conversation real quick.
Yep. And it's like I said before, and break that old rhetoric to where when you go down there, don't even go down there with your hands out for something. Sometimes we got to go down there with something in our hands, willing to help. Start asking our local officials, what issues and problems are you having with getting things addressed in the community? What needs do you need to maximize your job for this community? You're going to say it got to be a two-way street. Woo! Let me calm down. The potential is there. The potential is there. We just have to be willing to do it. Willing to have basic conversations and get back to the simplest. What matters at the end of the day? What really matters at the end of the day? Let's deal with the simplest things. First things first, you gotta address the issues of your community. And every community is different. You gotta be willing to have conversations with the elected officials of your community. Because how would you know what their best interest is if you never have a conversation, if you never attend a meeting, if you never even research? And then if you research and you find out that these political candidates don't have your best interest in mind, not willing to work for the best for the community, you have the ability to mobilize, select your own candidates, support them, and put them in the office. People, we gotta act like we got a problem with saying no. These people told us straight up, give them something and we'll have them voting Democratic for 200 years. Just off of knowing that alone, that should trigger something in your head like, hey, I ain't your sucker. And people keep talking about, oh, being played this and that. Man, this man said this on national television. And how many people still do it without research? To the point, these people don't even come out and speak to you because they already know. It's input in your head on what you gonna do. Worried about a federal election. You need to be worried about locally where you lay your head. Same person telling you don't do the taxes. They got a place for you to stay. When they come put a highway where your house used to be. As a matter of fact, where's that alternative? My bad. Sorry for the rant. Just sometimes, y'all. Sometimes.
Nope. That ain't no rant.
Can't apologize for the truth. Got to tabulate it.
Yeah. Anybody saying don't participate?
You know what I'm saying? Again, where is the alternative for the people? I'm not asking for me because I know what I'm going to do. Where's the alternative for the people?
Exactly. The people that don't know, you don't know what you're talking about. What are they walking into? A burning house.
But you know, you just get jokes, laughter, he, and a whole lot of hot air and nothing. I mean, show me one community built off of this invisible alternative. Man, listen, I'll take a micro community.
Yeah, man. So when you see whole communities rebuilt, and I'm talking about completely rebuilt, where was the participation for it not to happen? Why couldn't it be just built up versus completely remodeled, gentrified, just completely changed?
Remember, didn't the sister who also started her own town with the 51 houses, didn't she also buy the historical district there, the historical drugstore, and they restored it in the image how they wanted it?
She did. Yes, she did.
They have a museum that tells their story in this town. So, I mean, proof is right there that you can be done. People want to be, how people say American Indian and want to stand on it. Okay. If you can do it legally, build you a town and rebuild American Indian history in that town. All this other foolish, reckless talk is just hot air. People don't want to do nothing. I'm going back in the corner, put myself in timeout.
Your corner sounds mighty close to court. Never mind.
All right. Next question. Oh no, it's not even next question. Let me finish this. My bad. In Puerto Rico, 3,493,256 people, or 93.8% of the population, reside in urban areas, and 2,032 people. Well, 2,032,533 people, or 6.2% of the population, reside in rural areas. In the island areas, 92% of the population,
347,487 people live in urban areas, and 7.4% of the population, 27,678 people live in rural areas. Want to read the next question, Double Cousin? Did the percentage of the U.S. population residing in urban areas increase from 2000 to 2010? Yes. The urban population of the United States increased from 79% in 2000 to 80.7% in 2010. Interestingly, this growth occurred primarily in urbanized areas rather than urban clusters. The percentage of the U.S. population living in urbanized areas rose from 68.3% to 71.2% between the 2 years, while the percentage living in urban clusters dropped from 10.7% to 9.5%. In Puerto Rico, on the other hand, the percentage of population living in urban areas decreased between 2000 and 2010 from 94.3% to 93.8%. Where can I find data for urban and rural areas? The Urban Area Program of the U.S. Census maintains a website, Hotlink, that contains data for urban and rural areas. This site includes lists and maps of the 2010 urban areas, relationship files, and documents explaining the criteria used to define the 2010 urban areas. Census data tabulated by the 2010 urban areas will be available in the fall of 2012 in the Urban Rural Update in the Summary File 1. How do I find out if my city is within the urban or rural area defined by the U.S. Census Bureau? The Census Bureau defines urban and rural at the block level. Therefore, a place such as a city may be urban, located wholly within an urban area, rural located entirely outside an urban area, or contain both urban and rural territory. Only the densely settled portion of the city is within an urban area. There are several tools to help determine the urban-rural status of a city. Relationship files are available for places, counties, county subdivisions, NECTAs, and 2,000 urban areas. The relationship file for places has at least one record for every place the Census Bureau recognizes. Search for your city name in the PL name column to determine the corresponding urban area for the unnamed column. If your city is not in an urban area, not in a 2010 urban area, will be displayed in the unnamed column. If your city name has more than one record, portion of the city may be in more than one urban area, or portions of the city may fall outside the 2010 urban area boundaries. Reference maps of each urban area are available. TigerWeb contains urban area boundaries. Finally, if you have access to GIS software, you can also use the TigerLine shapefiles. How do I find out if my address...
I know what I'm doing this weekend. I know what I'm doing this weekend.
I already know, you and me both.
What about me?
You too, Double Cousin.
Nope. All right.
How do I find out if my address is within an urban or rural area according to the U.S. Census Bureau? Reference maps of each urban area will be available later this spring. TigerWeb will also be updated with urban area boundaries later this spring. In addition, beginning in the fall of 2012.
Okay, you're breaking up. My bad.
My bad. Can you hear me?
Yep.
In the beginning of in addition, beginning in the fall of 2012, the American Fact Finder address search tool will contain urban and rural information. There's a hot link for that. Oh. So when you click on that hot link, it tells you the census for your city and state, the area that you're looking at. So it tells you the stat numbers that they're getting. It'll tell you the population of that area, general population and housing characteristics, race and Hispanic or Latino origin, Hispanic or Latino by type, Mexican, Puerto Rico, etc. Household and families, relationship, children, household size, and that's for the 2010 census. And then 2017, it'll give you the 2017 American Community Survey, 2018 Population Estimates Program, and then the census for 2000, the 2000 census, general demographic characteristics, population, age, race, sex, household, and housing.
You know what's funny? When people be talking about numbers and statistics and how many and this and that, and they need to, it's kind of funny that all you have to do is plug in because this stuff is already done.
Mm-hmm.
All this guessing on population and on services and stuff, I mean, we know because we always on the site. That's how we know. I mean, now one of us got a crystal ball in here that be talking to us, unless no selling and Gabrielle got something I don't know about. Other than that,
hey now, what time we ending the show? Talk about that afterwards. No, I'm joking. Anybody got no crystal ball, man?
It's just going through the portals, and basically you can look at all areas information. Man, some of them portals, the information is so detailed. Maps. Yeah, they tell you the income of every household, of your household, every household on your street.
So you can pull up, select all, the drop-down menu. And yeah, I would suggest that people click on that hot link at the end. Matter of fact, click on all the hot links. But yeah, you want to.
That's why I said it again. People who say that they for the community, that they trying to help. If you really trying to help, take some time out your schedule and just research the portals, research the information, research the programs. Because again, all this other stuff is wasting time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you really care about the community, this information right here should show. Because if a person can't take 15 minutes out of their day to open it up and look at it, that tells you all you need to know about the individual. Straight up. Ain't no more questions asked. I mean, again, because it's time to just start, like I said, move forward. April 1st is tomorrow. It's moving forward. It's building time. All this useless rhetoric that ain't going nowhere, back and forth, forget all that. If people not coming to you about things that can benefit your community, something that you can plug in and change the situations, not only for you, but your community and your future generations, what are you wasting your time for? At the end of the day, you can't take not one bit of information and apply it to change your life for the better. What are you wasting your time for? complain about the conditions of the community, but not once attempted to apply for any service or any program that you can use to rebuild the community. Never took 30 seconds out to go to a HUD website, a USDA website, microloans, anything, but to turn around and tell you don't participate and have no alternative to give you. And people have the audacity to say agents. Last I remember, history teaches us the Indian agents were getting us away from responsibility. Their job was to make us become individuals and forget community. Don't actions speak louder than words, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Words ain't hit dogs hollering either. Them ain't words. Should be hit dogs hollering. Gabrielle, you gonna say something?
Nah, I'm just saying, yeah, actions do speak louder than words. What you doing?
Then you have people be like, why you care? I care because I care about my brothers and sisters. I care about the communities. And anybody that's misleading the communities, the BS got to stop. It just has to stop, especially when families are the ones who pay for this at the end of the day. Future generations pay for this at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Again, present the person who has followed any one of these programs step by step and was denied.
Oh man, let's not make them wait too long, folks. You know you're not gonna get no answer to that.
No, real talk. It's time to really separate the real from the fake. You're about what you say about how much of yourself are you investing in it. You believe in it, your ideology so much, you willing to build a physical organization behind it? It's so proven. You're willing to build an institution. I mean, people can talk all day. It's the actions.
Yep.
What real physical foundation are people trying to build, trying to leave behind? Believe in themselves and what they say so much, but won't even put it down on a piece of paper.
Can we send that in? Well, it's not ready. You promoting it like it's ready.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, these are honest questions to be asked. Because the last I remember, and I can only speak for self, when you're passionate about something and you know it's the right thing, you willing to go out there, stand on it, put your name on it, build organizations behind it, and get to work. People need real help. What they gonna do? Call YouTube? You try to get in contact with you?
Can you even call YouTube to contact somebody? Don't they make it hard?
I guess they'll find out. I guess they'll find out. Like I said, it's time to take responsibility. It's time to stop the foolishness, and it's time to actually get back to work. It's time to pick up where our ancestors left off and move forward. Wasted conversations on things that ain't going nowhere, that ain't never going nowhere. It's time to just leave it where it's at. Turn it off, step away from the noise, get from in front of the screens and do what you got to do locally. Do what you have to do to put yourself in position so you can start producing for yourself and your community. Because who closer to you physically than your community? And like we say again, participate, because it really does matter. Because history shows us what happens when we don't participate. We are living testimonies of what happened when we don't participate. Our neighborhoods are reflections of what happened when we don't participate. The education of our children is an example of what happens when you don't participate. The lack of proper representation is what you get when you don't participate. So if there's a whole trail of breadcrumbs that shows us exactly what you get when you don't participate, is it the obvious choice now to start participating? Because to keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, isn't that the actual definition of insanity?
Sure that it is. That's what I've been hearing all these years. That don't even sound like science.
So this is where we have to step back and look at this. Nowhere in history has it ever worked for us by not participating. And we're supposed to get there by not participating. Am I missing something, no sellout?
I don't know. I think we need to do a class or something. Like maybe we need to take a class that everybody taking. Is people taking classes to learn this stuff, to do it backwards? The backwards way? The dangerous way? The non-community? I don't know, man. I'm just here to make you think I know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's something in the water.
Gabriella clicked the wrong window.
Gabrielle still there? She stuck in a couple of windows.
Yeah. One window was Never Neverland, clearly, because she dropped off. There she go.
Can you hear me?
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
My bad.
You just remember
Not
which
all my
window?
no, all my lights got cut off and then it cut back on. So maybe they're testing. I don't know. They put I don't know. But I had to reboot everything. I don't know what that was. I guess they tested out those new meters that they put in. People at home, they gonna test to see if the remote cutoff works.
Exactly. It's like, oh, word? I heard you acting up over there. Ew. What is we gonna do?
I do. Wow.
She's telling people to do the census. Get her.
For real.
Who the plug? Who the plug?
No, we wanted to know who the sovereign citizens were. They're racing to get their socials back.
I had a moment. I said, wait, I know I paid the bill. Hold on. Is it due already? Wait a minute.
I thought they said they weren't gonna do this.
They got a grace period. Like, is it late? What's going on?
Nobody even
back
called.
on. I was like, oh, okay. So what just happened? Is this what they're gonna do from now on when the bills come in due? Do a pre-warning?
Exactly.
You know what that felt like?
I don't know.
You gonna pay now?
If you're not getting no warning. Hey, yo, you know you can pay 5 days early, right? You ain't gotta wait till the last day.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
you remember that money we gave you? We've been tracking it. We know it's still there. Can you go ahead and just...
You know what that feel like, right? You remember that feeling, that instant feeling, that run right before you walk? Yeah. Yep. You gonna pay the bill?
It's that just in case you forgot what it is not to have it.
You get what I'm saying? You got to go through me to get that electricity.
Oh man.
Man, that was like a little scary feeling. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. I know I paid the bill. Wait, is it time? Has it been? Wait, no, it's not even April yet. Hold on. It's not even April 1st. Wait a minute. It ain't due until the 16th. What happened?
Oh man.
What is going on? Them new meters, huh? Remote access. Okay. Wi-Fi.
No, is that just Wi-Fi in case you was thinking not? It was just in case you was thinking not to pay it.
You get what I'm saying? You know what? That's what it was. They pressed that button. Play with it if you want to. You know what that felt like. Okay.
You know how they normally send, how they used to send you like the little text or the email?
Yeah, I usually
to
get
let
a
you know
phone
when
call.
it's due?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's probably what they do now. That's a reminder.
Man, that ain't cool. That ain't cool.
Look, we ain't even got no employees
play.
at the job, okay? So we just gonna hit this switch and let you know that that's the warning.
Yeah, like days. I don't even want to play no more. That wasn't even funny. You good? You got it. You run it. Who run electricity? Companies. I'm good. You got it. You got it.
This is your 15-day reminder. Click, click.
Exactly.
15 early day reminder.
Exactly.
You don't even understand. Before I called back in, I was like, should I call the light company first? But no, let me.
Go ahead and reset your stove clock.
For real. Hold on.
What is it? 12:20?
Yeah, because it's 9:28. By the stove.
Oh man.
What in the world was that?
Don't ask me. I don't know. I ain't did nothing.
My bad. Wait, are we still live?
Yep.
Okay, my bad. I don't think y'all understand. It was. Oh lordy! I'll never roam the streets again. I mean, for real, that felt like a warning. Play if you want to. We didn't send you no notice out saying you better pay it. It's coming up. You know your due date.
We don't got enough people to send out a notice. Press the button.
And it's crazy. I didn't realize because they changed out all the meters in the whole city, right?
And so I opened the door and looked outside to see if I see a truck, if I heard a transformer blow or something. I was like, oh, they put them new meters in where they can cut it off, remote access. Wait a minute. Did I pay the bill? Yeah, I paid the bill. Hold on. It ain't the 16th of April. Hold what? Wait. Why they do that?
Where dost thou do that at?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
No, I think we're on salutate.
We're on salivations.
We're salutating.
Okay, I'm gonna just.
Because we all got questions post show.
Man, look at here. Okay. Continue on your genealogical journey. First and foremost, peace to the panel, peace to the chat, peace to the silent majority. Continue on your genealogical journey. It is important. Know who you are so that no one can tell you who you are. Period. Know who you are so that no one can tell you who you are. Know who you are so that no one, if you have children, so no one can tell your children who they are. It's important.
True that.
Anyone telling you not to do genealogy? Yeah. I'm going to hit them with Alice in Wonderland. Who are you?
That's what I also thought you was at earlier when you dropped off. I was like, whoa. Is that window just a bottomless pit? You just going to keep falling? Then you just dropped off the car. But yeah, she just hung up.
Like, yeah, genealogy is important. Anyone saying not to do genealogy, I mean, it's the same thing as them saying, don't participate. Who are you? What you got going on? What are you doing? I'm just saying, genealogy is important. Again, know who you are so that no one can tell you who you are. Know who you are so that no one can tell your children who they are. So, yeah, genealogy is absolutely, definitely important. Census Day, April 1st. April 1st is Census Day. People have been getting census in the mail. So it's not like the first day to do the census is April 1st, A lot of people have done the census. Participate. Aside from the envelope saying it is required by law, why not count so that you can count? Why not count so that you can have representation? Why not count so that you can have funding? Why not count so that you can have programs? Why not count so that your community, so that you, along with the community, can benefit? Why not? So yeah, Census Day, participate, do the census, get out there, get actively involved, or I guess not get out there, link out there, click out there.
Man, hold on. We're living in the new times, aren't we? You can go outside and play.
So yeah, link out there, click out there, get actively involved, know what's going on in your community, know what's going on in your state, know what's going on with your elected officials, know what's going on. I mean, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with knowing. There's nothing wrong with participating. There's nothing wrong with getting email notifications, text notifications. There's nothing wrong with getting notifications and knowing. You can't unknow what you know. You can't unsee what you see. You can't unhear what you hear. You can't. And all of us individually are all responsible for what we know, the knowledge that we take in and what we do with it or not do with it. We're still responsible. So get actively involved. Know what's going on. Know it if it affects you or how it affects you. Know if it doesn't affect you, how it affects other people, how it affects the community. Just saying, sharing is caring.
is Epiphany's cousin?
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, you gotta get out there. Gotta participate. Gotta get involved. Gotta make it happen. I mean, we as individuals, we do a lot of great things when we come together for a common goal. We as individuals, I mean, they've got, as individuals, as groups, as entities, they've got a funding for our thoughts. There are programs, there are funds, there are resources out there. All we have to do is take a step forward and say, okay, I'm going to participate in this. I'm going to establish this. I'm going to do this. And this will help the community. This will help people. This will help me. I don't see the problem. So, with that being said, peace to the panel, peace to the chat, peace to the silent majority. Shout out to Double Cousin for these wise words. Appreciate you.
Nah.
Doing nothing is hard. You never know when you're done. Patience is something you admire in the driver behind you, but not in the one ahead of you. Every man and woman is guilty of all the good he or she did not do. Tell a man there are 3 billion stars in the universe, and they'll believe it. Tell them that the bench has wet paint on it, and they'll have to touch it. If you try to fail and succeed, what have you done? And last but not least, the best way to teach your kids about taxes is by eating 30% of their ice cream.
Oh, man. So I'm just going to call what I've already been doing taxes. Gotcha. 100%. Gotcha.
Okay, last but not least. Okay, never be a prisoner of your past. It was just a lesson, not a life sentence. Or, and for that matter, the past. And lastly, I think you guys will get a kick out of it. But for those people saying, no, don't participate, don't do the census and do all of this, only a genius can say these 4 words 4 times really fast without getting tongue twisted. I, yam, stew, and peed.
Say that again.
I, E-Y-E, yam, Y-A-M, stew, S-T-E-W, and peed, P-E-E-D.
Okay. I'm not messing with you.
Have a beautiful day, everybody.
Mic check.
1, 2.
Peace to the chat and peace to the panel. Peace to Autonomous Assembly. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, and or corrections, and or those alternatives we've been talking about, or questions about alternatives, please email us at autonomousassembly@gmail.com. We are here. Yeah, tomorrow's April 1st, right? Is that correct?
Correct.
Man, they don't have 32 days in March in 2020. It's not a new thing. Tomorrow's that day, huh?
That's a peep year.
Tomorrow is that day. So, yeah. I mean, it's not the last day to do the census, but tomorrow is the day you can, and a lot of people, like she said before, have done their census already. Can you do a redo if you mess something up on your census? No?
I don't know if you can do a redo, but I do know that you can get the paper form, fill it out, and send it in.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you can do many things. You can by mail it or online it. Yeah. So you can also hit us up about that. So yeah, Zoom link is everywhere. The dial-in number is everywhere. Yeah. See you guys tomorrow with more Census Talk Bones, correct? I mean, it's Census Day.
Yep.
Might as well.
You know it.
So yeah, we will see y'all tomorrow. Peace, y'all.
All righty. Thanks again, Gabrielle and No Sellout, for the work you put in on the Rising Show to make it what it is. Also, thank the active chat and the solid majority for all parties coming together every Rising consistently so we can keep this going. And again, tomorrow's the 1st, Census Day. And people will tell you not to participate. It does this, it does that, etc., etc., etc. Then in return, ask them, where did they get the information that says that? What's the alternative for not participating? What's the system in place not to be a part of the system that's here for you already? And if they can't give you a legitimate answer, point you in the direction of a legitimate source of the information, and why are you following again? Again, it's time for us to take responsibility. The responsibility of making better informed choices, the responsibility of rebuilding our communities, being better examples for our children, being better providers and shelterers of our elders, being better neighbors to each other. Again, tomorrow can be the day that we mark down the misidentified American/urban Indians, to use our voice to let it be known that we are still here, to use our voice to stand up and take the responsibility of our communities, to build the institutions and programs to fix our conditions, to take on the lifestyle of the American Indian, making our communities first. Because through community, you realize as the individual, you benefit. As communities, you will realize there is nothing that we cannot accomplish. As communities, you will realize it would demand for us to have fair and equal representation. So therefore, we can enact laws that make acts to make sure the conditions of our past will never happen again. But if we remain silent, inactive, then we have no right to ever complain again about the conditions that ail us. So brothers and sisters, continue working in your communities. Continue letting others know the importance of the census. And by participating, that we can rebuild our communities and make them better. Continue to work with your neighbors. So therefore, we can put aside petty differences and realize that we all live in communities. We all have needs in communities. And through these needs and the research of genealogy, not everyone, but a remnant of us will remember and can build for the future. So until we link up again for tomorrow's Rising Show, remember we love you and peace.
Gabrielle.
Peace, everybody. No, I ain't gonna do it. I'm trying not to.
This is weird. Peace, y'all.
Okay, so just remember, everybody. Just remember, everybody. Cupcakes are muffins that believed in miracles.
Peace, y'all.
Ooh, that's saying a lot. I guess we gone.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.